Hi there.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back. It's so good to see you here again.
Today, we have a really interesting topic to talk about.
We do. Brian and I are going to discuss jobs and careers. What we do for work, how we feel about it, all that stuff.
It's a topic everyone can relate to, whether you're working, studying, or looking for a job.
That's right. No textbooks, no grammar drills, just natural conversation between two friends.
The best way to learn is by listening to real conversations, so that's what we do here.
And today's topic is super practical. Jobs and careers are a huge part of our lives. We spend so much time working, so it makes sense to talk about it.
Absolutely. Work can be stressful, rewarding, challenging, all kinds of things.
Before we dive in, just a quick reminder. If you're enjoying these conversations, give us a thumbs up. It really helps.
And hit that subscribe button if you want more content like this.
We really appreciate your support. It keeps us motivated to make more videos for you.
All right, let's get into it. Jessica, I have a question for you right off the bat.
Go ahead.
What do you do for work?
Well, Brian, I work as a graphic designer. I design things like logos, posters, websites, social media graphics, stuff like that. I've been doing this for about 5 years now, and I really enjoy it. It's creative work, which is perfect for me because I love making things that look good and communicate ideas visually.
That sounds really creative. Do you work for a company, or are you freelance?
I'm actually freelance now. I used to work for a design agency, but about 2 years ago, I decided to go out on my own. It was a big decision, but I'm really happy I made that choice. Being my own boss has its challenges, but the freedom is worth it.
Wow, that's brave. Freelancing can be risky, right? No stable paycheck. You have to find your own clients. How did you make that decision?
Honestly, I just wanted more flexibility. When I was working at the agency, I had to be in the office from 9 to 5 every day. The work was interesting, but the schedule felt too rigid for me. I'm more productive when I can work on my own terms,
I totally get that. Some people thrive in a structured environment, but others need more freedom. What are the best parts of being freelance?
The best part is definitely the flexibility. I can work from home or from a coffee shop or wherever I want. I can also choose which projects I take on. If something doesn't interest me, I can turn it down. Plus, I set my own rates, which is empowering.
That does sound appealing. What about the downsides? Are there things you miss about working for a company?
Oh, for sure. Sometimes I miss having coworkers around. Freelancing can be pretty lonely because you're working by yourself most of the time. I also miss having a steady paycheck. Some months are great, but other months are slow, and that can be stressful.
Yeah, the inconsistency would worry me. Do you have to do a lot of self-promotion to find clients?
I do, yeah. I spend a lot of time on social media, posting my work, networking, reaching out to potential clients. It's basically like running a small business. You have to wear a lot of hats, designer, marketer, accountant, all of it.
That sounds exhausting, but it also sounds like you're learning a lot.
I am. I've learned so much about business and marketing that I never would have learned working for someone else. So even though it's challenging, it's also really rewarding.
That's great.
Okay, so what about you, Brian? What do you do for work?
I work as an accountant. I've been in this field for about 7 years. I work for a mid-sized accounting firm, and we have about 50 employees. I mostly handle tax preparation and financial planning for our clients.
Oh, interesting. That sounds like a lot of responsibility. Do you enjoy it?
Honestly, it's a mixed bag. Some parts of the job I really like, and other parts are just okay. I enjoy the problem-solving aspect of it. When a client has a complicated financial situation, It's satisfying to figure out the best solution.
That makes sense. What are the parts you don't enjoy as much?
Well, it can get pretty repetitive, especially during tax season. From January to April, it's just non-stop tax returns. Day after day, it's the same thing. It gets exhausting, and honestly, it gets kind of boring.
I can imagine. That sounds really intense. Do you work long hours during that time?
Oh yeah, during tax season, I'm working like 60 or 70 hours a week. It's brutal. I barely have time to sleep or see my friends and family. By the end of April, I am completely burned out.
Wow, that's a lot. Do you at least get some time off afterward to recover?
A little bit, yeah. After tax season ends, things slow down a bit, and I can take some time to rest. But honestly, by that point, I am so exhausted that it takes a while to feel normal again. And then, before you know it, the cycle starts all over.
That doesn't sound sustainable in the long run. Have you ever thought about switching careers or finding a different job?
I've thought about it for sure, but it's hard to make a big change like that. I've invested a lot of time and money into becoming an accountant. I have my CPA license, years of experience. Starting over in a new field would be really tough.
I understand that. It's scary to give up something you've worked so hard for. But at the same time, if you're not happy, maybe it's worth considering. You spend so much of your life at work, you know?
You're right. I guess I just haven't figured out what else I would do. What would I be good at? What would I enjoy? Those are big questions, and I don't have the answers yet.
They're big questions. But maybe you don't need to have all the answers right away. You could start by exploring different things, taking classes, trying new hobbies. You never know what might turn into a career opportunity.
That's good advice. Maybe I should do that. What about you, Jessica? Have you always wanted to be a graphic designer?
Not always, actually. When I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher. I loved the idea of helping people learn and grow. But then, in college, I took a design class as an elective, and I fell in love with it.
So you changed your path pretty early on.
Yeah, I did, and I'm really glad I followed my passion. Design just felt right to me in a way that teaching didn't. Don't get me wrong, I still think teaching is a wonderful profession. It just wasn't the right fit for me personally.
That's wonderful. It sounds like you found something that really suits you. Everyone is that lucky.
I know, and I feel very grateful for that. Not everyone gets to do work that they're passionate about. A lot of people end up in jobs they don't really care about, just because they need to pay the bills.
That's so true. And there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, sometimes you have to take a job that's not your dream job just to survive. But if you have the opportunity to pursue something you love, you should definitely go for it.
I agree. Okay, Brian, here's another question for you. What do you think makes a good job? Like, what are the most important factors?
That's a good question. For me, job security is really important. I like knowing that I have a steady paycheck and benefits, health insurance, retirement savings, all that stuff. That stability gives me peace of mind.
That's very practical. And honestly, those things are really important. You can't ignore the financial side of work.
Exactly. I also value work-life balance, even though I don't always have it. In an ideal world, I would work a reasonable number of hours and have plenty of time for my personal life. But in reality, especially during tax season, that balance goes out the window.
That's tough. It sounds like your job doesn't always give you the balance you need.
It doesn't. And that's one of the reasons I sometimes think about making a change. Want to have a life outside of work, you know? Hobbies, relationships, time to relax.
Absolutely.
What about you, Jessica? What makes a good job, in your opinion?
For me, flexibility is the most important thing. I need to have some control over my time and my schedule. That's why freelancing works so well for me. I can choose when I work and when I take breaks.
That makes sense. What else is important to you?
I also think it's important to feel like your work has meaning. I want to create things that people find useful or beautiful. When a client tells me they love the design I made for them, it feels really rewarding. That sense of purpose keeps me motivated.
So purpose and impact are important to you.
Definitely. I don't think I could do a job that felt meaningless, even if it paid well. I need to feel like I'm contributing something positive to the world.
I respect that. Money is important, but it's not everything.
Exactly. Okay, here's another question. Do you think it's better to work for a company or to work for yourself?
Well, it depends on the person. For someone like you, freelancing is probably perfect. You're self-motivated, you're comfortable with uncertainty, and you value freedom. But for someone like me, working for a company feels safer.
That's a fair point. Different people have different needs and preferences.
Right. I know some people who would hate working for a company because they don't like being told what to do. And I know other people who would hate freelancing because they need structure and stability. There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
I agree. This is all about finding what works for you.
Exactly.
So, Brian, let me ask you this. If money wasn't an issue, what would you do? Like, if you could do any job in the world, what would it be?
Wow, that's a big question. Let me think about that for a second. If money wasn't an issue, maybe I would want to do something creative. Maybe photography, or writing, or something like that. Something where I could express myself and make things.
Really? That's so different from accounting.
I know, right? But accounting is what I fell into because it's practical and stable. Deep down, though, I've always been drawn to more creative pursuits. I just never pursued them seriously because I didn't think I could make a living from them.
That's really interesting. Have you ever tried photography or writing as a hobby?
A little bit, yeah. I like taking photos when I travel, and I used to write short stories when I was younger, but I haven't done much of that lately because work keeps me so busy.
Maybe you should make time for it again. Even if it's just a hobby, it might bring you some joy and balance.
You're right. I should do that. What about you, Jessica? If money wasn't an issue, would you still be a graphic designer?
That's a good question. I think I would still do design, but maybe in a different way. I might focus more on passion projects, like designing for nonprofits or causes I care about. Right now, I have to take on whatever projects pay the bills. But if money wasn't a concern, I could be more selective.
That makes sense. You could use your skills to make a bigger impact.
Exactly. Okay, here's another question for you. What's the worst job you've ever had?
Oh, man, that's easy. When I was in college, I worked at a fast food restaurant. It was absolutely terrible. The work was repetitive, the customers were often rude, and the pay was really low. I only lasted about 3 months before I quit.
I can imagine. Fast food jobs are really tough. What made you quit?
Honestly, I just couldn't take it anymore. I was working late nights, coming home smelling like grease, and getting yelled at by customers over things that weren't even my fault. It was so draining. I realized I needed to focus on my studies and find something better.
That sounds awful. I'm glad you got out of there.
Me too. What about you? What's the worst job you've ever had?
Mine was probably when I worked as a receptionist at a dentist's office. It wasn't terrible, but it was really boring. I just sat at a desk all day answering phones and scheduling appointments. There was no creativity involved, and the time went by so slowly.
Yeah, boredom can be just as bad as stress sometimes.
For sure. I remember watching the clock, waiting for my shift to end. It made me realize that I need a job that keeps me engaged and challenged.
That's a valuable lesson. Sometimes you have to experience what you don't want in order to figure out what you do want.
Absolutely. Okay, Brian, let me ask you something else. What was your very first job? Like, the first time you ever got paid for work?
Oh, my very first job. That takes me back. When I was 15, I got a job as a grocery bagger at a supermarket. It was pretty simple work, just putting people's groceries in bags and sometimes helping them carry stuff to their cars.
That sounds like a classic first job. Did you like it?
I didn't mind it, actually. The work itself was boring, but I liked having my own money for the first time. It felt good to earn something, you know? Even if it was just minimum wage, it was mine.
I totally get that. There's something really satisfying about earning your own money. What did you spend it on?
Mostly video games and junk food. I wasn't very responsible with money back then. I would get my paycheck and immediately go buy something I didn't need. It took me a few years to learn how to save.
That's pretty normal for a teenager, though.
What about you, Jessica? What was your first job?
My first job was babysitting. I started when I was around 14. I would watch the neighbors' kids on weekends while their parents went out. It was good money for a teenager, and the kids were usually pretty well behaved.
That's a good first job. Did it make you think about teaching, since you mentioned you wanted to be a teacher at one point?
Actually, yeah. Babysitting was one of the reasons I thought I might like teaching. I enjoyed working with kids and helping them with their homework. But as I got older, I realized I wanted to do something different.
That makes sense. It's good that you had that experience to help you figure it out.
For sure. Okay, here's another question. How important do you think salary is when choosing a job?
Oh, that's a tough one. Salary is definitely important, but it's not the only thing that matters. You need to make enough money to live comfortably and pay your bills. But beyond that, other factors become more important.
Like what?
Like job satisfaction, work-life balance, the people you work with. I've heard stories of people who took high-paying jobs and ended up miserable because the work was soul-crushing. So, yeah, money matters. But it's not everything.
I agree with that. I think there's a certain baseline salary you need to survive, and after that, it's more about the other stuff. I'd rather make a little less money and actually enjoy my work than make a lot and be miserable.
That's a healthy way to look at it. What about benefits? Do you think benefits are as important as salary?
Oh, absolutely. Health insurance, retirement savings, paid time off, all of that stuff is really valuable. When I was working at the agency, I had great benefits. Now that I'm freelance, I have to pay for my own health insurance, and it's really expensive.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides of freelancing. You don't get those benefits automatically.
Exactly. So when people compare salaries, they should also think about the total compensation package, not just the number on the paycheck.
Good point.
Okay, Brian, here's another question. How do you deal with stress at work? Because it sounds like your job can be pretty stressful, especially during tax season.
Yeah, it can be really stressful, honestly. I don't always deal with it very well during tax season. I just kind of power through it and hope it ends soon. But I know that's not healthy.
What do you do to relax after a long day?
Well, I try to exercise when I have the energy. Going for a run or lifting weights helps me clear my head. I also like to watch TV or play video games to unwind. Just something mindless to take my mind off work.
That makes sense. Physical activity is a great stress reliever. I do yoga sometimes, and it really helps me relax.
Yoga is good. I've never tried it, but maybe I should.
You should. It's great for both your body and your mind. What about talking to people? Do you have friends or family you can vent to when work gets tough?
Yeah, I have a few friends who understand what I'm going through. Sometimes just talking about it helps. It's nice to know you're not alone, you know?
Absolutely. Having a support system is really important.
For sure. What about you? How do you handle stress?
Well, as a freelancer, my stress usually comes from worrying about finding clients or meeting deadlines. When I feel stressed, I try to step away from my computer and do something creative that's not work-related, like painting or drawing just for fun.
That's a good strategy. It's good to have hobbies outside of work.
Definitely. It helps you remember that you're more than just your job.
True.
Okay, last big question for you, Brian. Do you have any career goals or dreams for the future?
Honestly, I haven't given it as much thought as I probably should. Right now, I'm just trying to get through each day, you know? But I guess if I had to think long term, maybe I would like to eventually move into a management position. Maybe become a partner at the firm.
That sounds like a solid goal. Would that make you happier, do you think?
I don't know. It would definitely mean more money and more prestige, but it would also mean even more responsibility and longer hours. So I am not sure if it would actually improve my quality of life.
That's something to think about. Sometimes climbing the ladder isn't always the answer.
True. What about you? What are your career goals?
Well, I'd like to keep growing my freelance business. Maybe eventually I could hire some other designers to work with me and turn it into a small agency. That way I could take on bigger projects and have more impact. I could also mentor younger designers, which would be really fulfilling.
That sounds exciting. You could be your own boss and build something from the ground up.
Exactly. It's a big dream, but I think it's possible if I keep working hard and building my reputation.
I have no doubt you'll get there. You seem really driven and passionate about what you do.
Thanks, Brian. That means a lot.
All right, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. Jobs, careers, stress, dreams, challenges.
We really have. I hope everyone listening found this conversation helpful and relatable.
Me too. Work is such a big part of life, so it's important to think about these things.
Well, that's all for today's conversation. Thanks so much for listening.
We hope you enjoyed this discussion about jobs and careers.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear from you. What do you do for work? Are you happy with your job, or are you thinking about making a change?
Drop a comment and let us know. We love hearing your stories.
And if this conversation helped you practice your English, please give us a like.
It really helps us out.
And don't forget to subscribe for more natural English conversations.
We're here to help you improve, one conversation at a time.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for being here.
Take care.
See you next time.
Bye.